Now, usually I do videos that have advice and tips and knowledge in them for anybody that finds this advice useful, anybody that finds it helpful. That's who I make the videos for. But that's not the type of time we on today. Today, this video is for the ladies. So take a break, fellas. Not just any kind of ladies though. This advice is for the single moms who are raising sons. Okay, single moms who are raising sons. If anybody caught my first video, then you understand growing up in a single parent household with your mother, that's my part of my story. That's part of my life. So you get first hand experiential, if that's a word, you get first hand experiential advice on tips for how to make this easier, how to make this better. All right. So let's get right into it. The first word of advice for you ladies: do not try to be your son's friend. Don't do it. I understand the thinking behind it. The thinking behind it is kind of innocent. I want to be close to my son. I want him to feel comfortable opening up to me. I don't want him to keep nothing from me. I want him to talk to me about whatever it is that's going on in his life. That's cool, but it's not effective. Just because, for one, with boys being boys, some stuff they're going to be absent minded about. Some stuff they didn't even recognize as important enough to share with you. Other things, just because they're a boy and he's talking to his mama, he not going to feel comfortable opening up about some of these things. That's just a natural part of it. That's just part of the biology. Some of the stuff that you're not gonna feel comfortable opening up to you about. And as well as some of the downsides of trying to be his friend is once you attempt to be his friend, your son no longer looks at you as an authority figure. And that's a real big issue because even though he's just a little boy now, that little boy is gonna grow into a grown man. For most women out there, by the time your son is a teenager, he already gonna be bigger than you. And when he gets to be later in years, that's the wrong time to try to establish yourself as the authority figure now. You should be able to have this boy doing whatever you say do, whenever you say do it, without trying to intimidate him, without having to raise your voice, without having to whoop him, spank him, whatever. But that all starts when he's a little boy. I'm telling you, it's not. My mama, she had 3 boys that she had to raise by herself. She never tried to be our friend. She was the sole authority figure in our life. And we didn't hold that against her. We didn't keep secrets from her because she was also the authority. That's mama. You're going to always look at her like mama. You're going to respect her as mama. But part of respecting her like mama was seeing her as the authority figure. I'm almost 35 now. I still don't talk crazy to my mama. I never talk back to my mama. I don't even curse in front of my mama. Even though I'm an adult, even though I'm grown. Why? Because it's a respect thing. I always saw her as the authority figure in my life. I always saw her as a woman deserving and demanding of respect. So I always treated her like that. That was something that was instilled in me as a little boy and it's never left. So don't think that you're gonna mess up your bond or mess up your relationship with your son by making sure that you're the authority in his life. No, you're not gonna mess it up. And that same little boy that you can tell what to do now, he's going to remain that way when he gets older, when he's bigger than you, when he's looking down, towering over you and all that. He's still going to have it in his mind. Don't talk back to mama. Don't disrespect mama. Do it because she said do it. All right? I don't know where that thinking comes from. I don't know who started that myth of, oh, well, you can't get on to your son like that. He ain't going to look at you the same. He ain't going to be as close to you. He ain't going to. Please, don't even worry about that. I appreciate and love my mama even more for the discipline that she put into my life. It's a lot of decisions that I made and I ended up making the correct decision because I knew if I made that other decision, mama was going to get on that ass. No ifs, ands, buts about it. I'm telling you, I love my mama. I respect her and I adore her even more for showing me that this is what love looks like. Love ain't always trying to tell me what I want to hear. Love ain't always trying to comfort and console me and make sure I feel the best. No, love is doing what's necessary for the person that you love, even if you got to tell them what they don't want to hear, even if you got to get on to them, even if you got to put that discipline on them. That's just part of the job. So, ladies, do not feel like, oh, well, I'm going to mess up my bond with my son by being a disciplinary. No, you're not. He will grow up, he will appreciate it even more. Trust me. And let me reiterate something, ladies. Don't take it personal that your son don't want to share every single thought in his brain with you. That's not a knock against you. That's not indicative of your parenting skills or nothing like that. Boys just are different from girls in that way. A little girl will talk to you simply because a little girl just want to talk. She just want to express. She want to be involved in conversation. Most times, little boys do the same thing sometimes, but most times with little boys, they're looking for some type of tip, some type of advice, some type of feedback. That's what makes them want to talk to you. It's not just talking for the sake of talking. I'm talking because I want to learn something. I want you to teach me something. I need some advice on something. So that's what that is. But anyway, my second piece of advice for you, for the single moms out there. It's important that you instill in your son some sense of being physical. Let him go outside and play. Let him bump his head a couple times. Let him get out there and rough himself up. Let him go play with his older brothers or his big cousins or something. That's important. It's important that you instill the importance of being physical and knowing the capabilities of your body, knowing the capabilities of thinking for yourself, of critical thinking, problem solving, using your hands, all of these things. Learning the way that the world works. Let them go climb a tree, fall, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I ain't saying go let them just jump in the fire, but I'm saying let them go out there, toughen up a little bit. You gonna bump yourself sometime. You gonna hit your knee. You gonna scrape your arm. You gonna. That's all part of it. Let that boy be a boy. Mama used to do that to us all the time. Mama used to come in there and say, "Hey, I'm finna clean up this house today. Y'all go outside and play, and don't come back in until I tell you it's okay." Yes, ma'am. And just from that alone, I'm outside, I'm learning about nature. I'm getting my stamina and endurance up. My body's becoming more durable. I'm learning how to deal with pain. I'm learning how to deal with just survival stuff on the smallest level, not ever really being in no danger. But yeah, I climbed a couple trees, played with some bugs and stuff, got a little dirty, just having fun being a boy, playing with my friends. That's teaching you some type of camaraderie. Like all of these things are important in the makeup of a man. Don't nobody want no grown man later on in life who this little sissy boy. He ain't got no sense of dealing with pain. He ain't got no sense of being physical, of being active, of being like, come on now. You don't raise your boy up in a way to where if you met a man like the way you raised your boy, you wouldn't even be attracted to him. Don't do that. Don't do that. You can teach him all the other stuff that you need to teach him too. My mama did that to me. She taught us go outside and play as well as when we was in the house. Mama taught me how to clean up the room. Mama taught me how to sweep, how to mop, how to do the dishes, how to cook, how to wash my clothes. Why? Because this is all a part of being a man. Part of being a man is being well rounded, and you start all of that at a young age. So you gotta have that proper balance. Teach him all of that stuff. Teach him how to iron his clothes. Teach him how to pick out his clothes, what style is, what fashion is. But let that man go outside and play. Let him be a boy. Let him get the scrapes and the bruises and the battle scars and all that. That's important. That's gonna build character. It's also gonna teach him for future reference how to protect himself, how to not be reckless. So that's the importance of these things. Help your boy to be well rounded. Don't just coddle him all the time. Of course, be there when he needs you. But let that man explore. Let him be adventurous. All of that is just already in him. So you gotta let him get out and express that. Let him get out and get in touch with that explorer side of himself, that adventurous side of being a boy. I'm telling you, it's highly, highly important. Don't just coddle him. You don't want no 13, 14-year-old baby. No, you finna be a couple years away from legally being a man. Hey, let him get out there and get it. And moving on to my third piece of advice for y'all ladies. I'm sure a lot of y'all out there done probably heard people say, a woman can't teach a boy how to be a man. And I feel conflicted on that. I ain't gonna lie. Because my mama raised me up to be a great man. So, let me tell you, I kind of agree with it. I kind of don't. Let me tell you why I don't. Of course, you ain't gonna be able to teach this boy how to be a man from your own personal experience. But I'm sure being a grown woman, you've had men in your life. And I ain't just talking about the men that you done dated and been involved with. I'm talking about your grandpa, your dad, or your stepdad, uncles and stuff in your life, big cousins that you done had, even if you got some brothers in your life. And you can see from your own experience, the way your dad talked to you is different from how he talked to your brothers. The expectations your grandpa had on you probably ain't the same expectations he had on your big cousins now. So even when they say, oh, a woman can't teach a boy how to be a man, that's kind of incomplete when they say that. What they saying is you can't teach him how to be a man from your own experience. So don't try to. Teach him from the lens of this is what I experienced, how my dad or my stepdad or whatever, this is how he was towards my little brothers or my big brothers. This how my grandpa was to my uncles. This was this is how I see them interact with each other different from how they interact with the women. As well as you can use your own preference. The things that you would expect out of a man that you dealing with. The things you would want to see in a man that you're dealing with. Instill those in your son. Go from that lens. You ain't got to try to teach him how to be a man as a man. You can teach him how to be a man from the perspective of a woman. My mama used to do that to us all the time. My mama used to say, hey, boy, you smelling a little tart. Get up in that shower. And I shouldn't even have to keep telling you to get in the shower. Don't no woman want to be involved with no man who don't know when to wash his ass. Hey, clean up after yourself. You act like you don't know how to clean. How you supposed to find a good woman and look at you being dirty? Don't nobody want no dirty man. Iron your clothes. What if you was going out on a date? You gonna go out wrinkled like that? What woman you think want to be seen with you like that? She used that a lot now that I think about it. But I can't lie, it was effective. She knew her boys. She knew we was interested in some women. Shoot. And if that's the type of insight and advice she could give us to better our chances of finding a good woman one day, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Shoot. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, you can teach him how to be a man through a unique lens. No, you're not going to be his dad. No, you're not going to teach him as a man, but that don't mean you can't instill tips and advice and things in him and still have an impact on him being a great man. Now we're gonna be moving right along. I'm gonna get into my fourth piece of advice for you ladies. And not only is this the fourth piece of advice, this is gonna also explain to you the part where they say a woman can't teach a boy how to be a man. This is the part that I do agree with. Alright? Now for this fourth piece of advice, whatever male figures you have in your life, whether that be your uncles, your grandpa, your big cousins, all that, like I was saying, your brothers, whoever, whatever male figures you have in your life, allow your son to go spend time with them. Ain't gotta be all the time. You ain't gotta try to make them the permanent babysitters or just send them with them when you got trying to go do something with it. No, just on a regular any given day, y'all go visit your grandpa. Let grandpa have some one-on-one time with your kid. Let him go holler at his uncles. Bring him over there to your brothers and them and all that. Let them interact with each other. Let him hang around, because this is the part right here, right? The part that I agree with when they say, "Oh, a woman can't teach you." Yeah, dog. When they say a woman can't teach a boy how to be a man, this is why it's important for you to still allow your son to have men that you trust in his life, for this one simple reason. Because even though my mama did a great job of raising up her boys, it was a lot of things that I had to learn on my own. As well as I had to be aware enough that I was deficient in certain areas, which is what caused me to go out and look for certain answers that I couldn't get from mama. All right, because mama can give you all the tips in the world. Mama can give you all the advice in the world. Mama can even give you a different perspective on how women view men when you doing A, B, or C, right? But this is the one thing that mama cannot change, and I don't care what it is. And also, women, the women that say, "Oh, well, my kid's father wasn't in his life, so I had to be the mama and the daddy." Women, please stop saying that. Please stop saying that. I understand what you're saying. I understand the sentiment. But nobody is expecting that, honestly. I'm going to just keep it real. Nobody is expecting that. My mama, when my pops wasn't around, I didn't expect mama to be daddy too. My mama didn't have to become more masculine and stuff all of a sudden to compensate for the fact that pops wasn't around. Nobody is expecting that. And then also, you can tell that that comes from a place of hurt, because why is it that that's the only family member that women, the mothers feel like they gotta replace? If your son was to lose a sibling, you don't feel like you gotta be his brother now. You don't feel like you gotta be his sister now. When his grandparents pass away from old age or whatever, you don't feel like you gotta be grandma and grandpa to your kid now. No, so stop tricking yourself into that type of mindset. That's just something from a place of hurt where some woman was trying to take a shot at her father, at the baby's father, for not being there. All you ever have to do is be what you are, and that's your child's mother. That's it. And now let me get back to that was a little tangent, but it was necessary. Now, the one reason why you can't teach this boy how to be a man is simply because no matter what you teach him and instill in him and the tips and advice you give him, a lot of his learning is still gonna come, like most kids, through observation, through what he sees. That's where the majority of the things that your children learn come from. It's not from what you tell them, it's not from what you teach them, it's from what they observe. And the one thing that you cannot change as a mother is the fact that no matter where you go, sporting events, taking your kid here, taking them there, taking them to the barber shop, it does not matter. The world around y'all is always gonna react to you like a woman. And that's what your son is seeing. That's the main reason why you can't teach him how to be a man. You can impart wisdom on him. You can give him advice. You can give him guidance. But through the scope of observation, he will never learn what it's like to be a man from you, because it's out of your control that the entire world is still gonna react and respond to you like a woman. Just like I said with the barbershop, even when you go into the barbershop, you can be in there and you can sit with your boy. Let me tell you something, ladies. It's certain conversations that go down in the barbershop that is off limits soon as a woman walks in the barbershop. Just because men are trying to be respectful of there being a woman around. I don't know how many of y'all know that. I don't know if this is some behind the scenes man secret. I don't know. But I'm here to tell you that's what it is. Men are gonna try to be more respectful, more courteous. They're gonna try to be not as vulgar when there's a woman around. So it's not even in your control. You don't even have no say so about it. But the world is still gonna respond to you like a woman. Cause that's what you are. And that's what your son is gonna see. And that's the only part about a woman can't teach a boy how to be a man. That's what makes that statement true, in part. And that's the importance of allowing your son to go spend time with his grandpa, go spend time with his uncles, go spend time with his big cousins and them, stuff like that. Because now they have a different view. They have a different lens to observe the world through. Because now, instead of being with mama all the time, now he gets to learn and observe how the world reacts and responds to a man in these same situations that you done took him to before. It's gonna be a whole different experience. It's gonna be a whole nother walk of life for him. Trust me. Moving along to my fifth and final piece of advice for this video. And I already said that this is for the single mothers raising sons. But this piece of advice right here is for the single moms raising a son whose father is still around though. Meaning you got custody of him. The kids live with you. But his dad is still there trying to be active in his life and all of that, right? And some of y'all might not like this piece of advice. But I'm going to give it to you anyway because this the advice, it's the info you need. Never stand in the way of your child's father trying to be there for his kid. I don't care what y'all going through. I don't care how much y'all argue and all of that. For one, you ain't make that kid alone. It's still part of his responsibility to be there for his child. If he chooses not to be there, that's a whole nother story. I'm gonna make a whole nother video about single moms and the baby's father not being there. But regardless of how mad this man make you, regardless of how much y'all argue, regardless of how much you can't stand him, he still got a responsibility to his child for one. For two, what's going on between you and him don't have nothing to do with the child. Nothing at all. And now this man, whatever you think about him, he could be this, that, and the third. Okay. That's him from the aspect of you trying to deal with him as a potential partner or used to be partner or whatever. But that might not be the same. He might not be as sorry at being a dad. He might be all these things under the sun when it comes to dealing with a woman and having a relationship and all of that. And he could still be a great father. So we have to allow the father, if he's still in your child's life, no matter how mad he make you, remember, this has nothing to do with the child. Don't be one of those mothers who you get mad at the child's father. Now you keeping the child from him because you know that's the way to hurt him. That's the way to get back at him. Because what you doing is you're also causing a detriment to your child as well. Even if you don't like that man and can't stand him, be honest and be real with yourself. Is he a capable father? Because if so, what you saying is you allowing this man to upset you, get under your skin, and just because you and him don't get along in the ways that y'all used to, you depriving your son of having a father. Don't he deserve that? Don't you want that for him? If your child is gonna grow up to not vibe with his dad, let that be their thing. Let that be because he showed himself to not be a good father. Don't let it be your decision to make all because of some pettiness. Your child is more important than that, right? You love your child more than that, right? You love your child and want the best for your child in every aspect. Don't reduce having this lovely child just be a pawn on the chessboard of me arguing and dueling it out with his father. Don't do that. Your child don't deserve that. Your child didn't do nothing to be dealing with the fact that my mom is keeping my dad from me. Allow your child to still have his daddy. If the dad is around, if the dad is capable. Allow him to still have that. He's more important than that. You gotta show him that love. Your love for your child has got to be greater than this man that you no longer even dealing with in that way. So don't lose sight of that, ladies. Don't lose sight of what's important just because this man has made you mad. Just because he get on your nerves. Just because as a partner, he ain't reached the potential you feel like he got. Don't let your pain and your hurt from things not working out with this man cause issues that don't even exist with his son. And that's all my piece of advice on that one. I ain't trying to get too. I know a lot of women probably ain't like what I'm saying, but y'all know y'all need to hear that. Y'all know that's just real. I'm not coming from a place of bitterness. I'm not trying to attack nobody. I'm just simply trying to tell you, think of it from the perspective of your son. And that's all I'm saying, ladies. That's all I'm saying. And everybody that made it this far in the video, let me say I appreciate y'all, ladies. I appreciate y'all listening to the advice and the information I'm giving just as much as y'all appreciate me giving this information to y'all. Hey, and like I always say, if y'all feel like I missed the mark a little bit, if you need me to go more in depth on some of the topics, on some of the things that I was talking about, I'm willing to do that. Leave it in the comments and let me know. I will get more in depth about whatever it is that y'all feel like I need to get more in depth about. If there's any topics, if there's any other things that you would like to have my input on and hear my input on, leave it in the comments. I'm going to read the comments. I'm going to read the comments. I'm going to take y'all suggestions and I'm going to get to it. Because that's what I'm trying to help y'all just like y'all going to help me. All right, that's what this all about. That's what this channel is for, just to be a help to people. All right, because I appreciate y'all and I love y'all just like y'all love and appreciate me. So, like always, leave it in the comments so that I got an understanding of what it is y'all looking for from me and I'm going to deliver. All right, let me know and we going to get to it.